Right guys, I don't know whether this will work or not, but what I've decided to do is I've decided to run two games side by side. I've got ShootersPool running and I've got Virtual Pool 4 running, and I've just got the same settings. I've got the 30 degree viewing angle set in VP4, and the same for ShootersPool. And we're going to play a frame of snooker, and we will see what happens. I'm just playing against myself, so there's no restriction or anything like that as far as I know. I don't think I've got a shot clock in here. I'm going to break off here in ShootersPool. And I haven't got enough side on it. I'm going to hit the blue. Right, so we broke off. We can break off in Virtual Pool 4. Now, the 30 degree viewing angle looks closer in Virtual Pool 4, so there's obviously a different setup in this game. It brings the balls closer. This is as close as you can have the zoom set in VP4, or the angle, sorry. Right, so let's try and break here. You'll see that the side takes much sharper, much quicker, much more bite off the rail, and that's not a bad break. We've left a red out in the open now. In Virtual Pool 4, we have a shot like this where we're looking down at the red and we're against the cushion. Now this is the thing with Virtual Pool 4, if you zoom in along the actual cue, you're still looking at the ball. Right? You're still looking at the ball, and you know, eventually when you get close to the cue ball, the camera changes its focus directly to the cue ball slightly. You can only see it slightly, but now we're trying to line up a shot. Now if I put the cue stick right at the top of the cue ball, as you can see there, I'm going to miss cue. So you can only ever see a third of the cue ball when you're against the cushions. So we'll put that down a bit. I've raised the butt slightly and I'm trying to line up my shot, and I'm going to let go. So in goes the red. So we potted a red. Let's go back to, we're at the table. We've got a red. Now straight away I'm trying to aim at that red there. And if I look at the difference here, my head feels as if it's a foot higher than it should be. If I go back, mind you, the problem there is I'm cueing over the yellow. That's probably not a good judgment there. But if I zoom in, I'm focusing more on the cue ball sooner than I am in Virtual Pool 4. Do you know what I mean? So if I go like that, the camera's focused on the cue ball. Now I know that in ShootersPool, if I go to, I think it's player options, and I think it's view, aiming, parallel view and cue. Now camera motion speed, there's one setting and I'm trying to find where it is now. Is it under playing assistances? Aim assist, angle of view, no restrictions. Well, I've got it on that no restrictions anyway. There's one where there's a setting where it goes on the cue or the ball. Now where the hell is it? Parallel view on cue. That's fine. Right, so you'll get parallel view on cue ball and parallel view on cue. So I'm going to put it on there for a second or two, and we'll see what happens. Let's continue playing, and we'll zoom in. So again, this is my natural instinct. My head feels that it's about 10 inches or 11 inches higher than it should be. That's the difference you get between playing the two different games. So now, in order to line up better, in fact I'm going to take this shot, hang on. That wasn't a good shot. I'm just going to play the black. Hopefully leave the black in the open. Right. Go back to... And where are we? Right. So we're on a cushion. And straight away when I zoom in, I feel more comfortable. Is it because I'm so used to Virtual Pool 4? Well, that's a factor. But the other factor is the fact that in ShootersPool, your angle is, instead of here, your angle is there. You're up high. You're not looking directly down the line of the shot. Here I'm looking down the direct line of the shot. In ShootersPool, your angle is here. So you're above the ball. And you're not parallel to the equator of the object ball, more or less. So if you can see the equator, the halfway line on that red is where my chin is down to, more or less, if you include the cue as well. It's difficult to explain, but the feeling that you get is that you're up here in ShootersPool. And for aiming, particularly in snooker, it's probably not as noticeable in pool because it's a smaller table, but with it being snooker and you've got longer ranges to go, longer distances to pot a ball, the higher you go, the more difficult it is to read that angle. I mean, this red here doesn't go into the middle, so I'm going to try and play it long into that bottom pocket. In fact, tell a lie, I'm on a colour. I'm on the black. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Right, anyway, I'm on the black, so I'm going to try and pot this black. And we've overdone it. Cut it to the rail. Let's go back again. Example. So, the nice touch about ShootersPool is that you know that you're on a colour or a red because your little triangle tells you so. So we're on a red, and again, from where the actual shaft of the cue is going under the camera there as I zoom in and out, it still feels that my head is at least, I mean at a minimum, my chin is at least 5, 6, 7 inches above that shaft of the cue. Now, when you're playing snooker in real life, your chin is rubbing on the cue. For the vast majority of players, the cue is being brushed against the chin of the cue, against your chin when you're playing a shot. And in ShootersPool, in snooker, you do not get that feeling. You're too high. If you look at the butt of the cue there, compared to the butt of the cue in Virtual Pool 4, and we will go there. You see the butt of the cue in Virtual Pool 4 is coming into your face. You're skimming right above the shaft of the cue. Your chin is on the cue in Virtual Pool 4. Your chin is not on the cue on ShootersPool. And I defy anybody to argue against me. If you look at that shot there gives you chin on cue. This shot here doesn't, because you're at least 5 or 6 inches above the cue, and that's wrong. I rest my case.